Yeah, I think we're live. We should be live. Yes, we're live. Woohoo! I feel like I should do this at the start of every stream I do. This stream is brought to you by Limeade. Let's put a bit of the old Limeade in the glass. Listen to that. Oh, that's the sound you want to hear. That is the sound you want to hear. And of course, Ernie Ball. Thank you very much, Ernie Ball. My friends over at Ernie Ball. Oh, that hits the spot. Cool. So, yeah, again, spontaneous live stream. Thought it'd be fun to come on and do something. The plan wasn't to come on and do a live stream. I'm transcribing some Matt Sickles. It's so damn good. He is so damn good. I've transcribed a lot of his stuff before, of course. Done lots of things for Matt. You can get lots of his transcriptions. I have posted a link to his YouTube. That is up in the comments, not comments, yeah, comments in the live chat. So please do go and check him out. Give him a sub. He is an absolutely incredible player, very very tasteful player. Does some wonderful arrangements, but also has lots of technique. It's there if you need it. You know, it's nice to have it, and it's there if he needs it. And sometimes he uses it. So today I am transcribing Surfer Girl, his rendition of the Beach Boys tune Surfer Girl. It's very, very nice. That's all I'm going to say. It's just very, very nice. And as I say, I'm transcribing it anyway. I was just marking out the bit where he goes into tempo because he has a free time intro in it. And it was just so nice that I thought, you know what? You know who might enjoy some of this? My lovely subscribers on YouTube. So thank you for being a subscriber. Hopefully you got a notification for this, and hopefully you will be introduced to a wonderful, wonderful guitar player as part of this stream. And if not, if you're already aware of his playing, then still watch it because you'll be introduced to some wonderful, wonderful transcribing skills, or at least that's the goal. So let me just see if anything's happening in the comments. We've got Bumble Bess. How's it going? Hello. Right, to be honest, I don't intend to be on for too long with this, so I'm going to switch straight over and get into it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to hear the thing that inspired me to do this stream, right? So I'm just marking the file out, and to be honest, while I'm listening to it, I'm deciding on whether I want this to be in 12/8 or in 4/4. It's really kind of up in the air. I'm undecided on which I prefer. Both will work fine, but there's usually one that's going to be technically a little bit more correct, So yeah, let's listen. So it sounds like this. Bring my microphone back up. That'll give you an idea that there's a little bit of fluctuation in pulse there, but that's fine. We obviously aren't going to go that far in the live transcription. So there's a great introduction to his playing. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that just lovely? You know, it's delicate. His voice leading is wonderful. His separation between melody and bass is really nice. His reharmonization in places is just really nice. There's tons that you can learn from this. And it's a really nice, fully formed arrangement, right? And to be honest, you don't even need to be familiar with the original to listen to this and go, well, that's nice. The thing with Limeade is it looks like radioactive water, right? Let's see what's going. Rick Beat is online. How's it going, man? Rick, are you familiar with Matt Sickles? Man, you need to check his playing out. He is absolutely wonderful. Bumblebess, yes. KDH did take down his video. He was getting hundreds, if not thousands of... not threats. He was getting hundreds of threats. Certainly not thousands of threats. He was getting hundreds of threats. People were contacting his schools. People were contacting his work. Trying to cancel him. So people were trying to find out where he lived. And when situations like that happen, it's incredibly unlikely that anything's going to happen. It's just intimidation, isn't it, right? But also at the same time, you have to look after your own safety. So when you've got people online that are, collectively trying to find your address, whether or not they intend to do anything, they're only doing that for one reason, right? They're only doing that because they want to intimidate you. That's I guess that's what Rob Chapman meant when he said he has a lot of online power. Oh, Rick, just as someone that you might talk about, might mention, throw some love Matt's way. He's obviously an incredible player. And his YouTube channel is tiny, actually. His YouTube channel is tiny. He's only got like 2,000 subscribers. And it's a shame because he's beautiful, beautiful player. He's a lovely guy as well. That's what's important, right? Really nice guy. So, where are we? Oh, Rick, don't get involved in petty YouTube drama, man. That's what I'm always being told. I can't help myself. I'm still young and angry. Right, so I'm going to keep... I think I will keep this in 12, and it was just from listening to it. You have to make that decision on pulse, whether or not you're hearing like the classic swing thing, or if you're hearing like a compound time signature. The difference between the two being, with the compound time signature, you're definitely counting 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, ta, 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 ta. I'm imagining like how a drummer would accompany something like this, whereas 4/4 you would expect da 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 da. There are some moments in this actually that are really nice where Matt breaks from the swing feel completely, and I think that works better in 12/8 because you can use tuplets, twos in the space of 3, which will really accurately give you an idea of the rhythm. Whereas if you write it in 4/4 with a swing feel, anytime that someone's playing the straight bit, you need to put in like a straight marking, or you need to notate everything that is swing as swing. So I think 12/8 is definitely the more appropriate of the two options here. And who doesn't love a bit of 12/8, right? 12/8, let's do a brief talk on 12/8, right? So transcribing in 4/4 is very easy. Well, not very easy, but it's the thing that we're most often exposed to. It's the thing that we work in more often than not. I would love for a smarter person like Rick or Adam Neely to do a video on the rise of 4/4, like the cultural significance of 4/4, where it was that we really started settling into 4/4 as a tempo. Sorry, as a tempo, what am I talking about? As a meter, because it's fascinating that we work in 4. Now 4s, of course, we tend to work in groupings of 4 and groupings of 2, etc. 12/8 is a compound time signature. So it's a time signature whereby your bass pulses, your bass beats, are divided by 3, rather than like 4/4. We go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 12/8 has four strong beats in the bar, but it's a compound time signature. Each one of those beats is divided by 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that makes a big difference to the overall feel, right? Therefore, notating things in 12/8 means that you have to have that triplet perspective. You have to absolutely be thinking of the rise of 4/4 Skywalker, Rick. Yeah, thanks so much, Rick. I appreciate that. You have to be thinking in terms of threes all the time, and your beats are groupings of eighth notes that are threes, or 16th notes where there would be 6 of them. When you start thinking of like tuplets within these groupings, your tuplets, your triplets of eighth notes, 3 16th notes fit in the space of one of those eighth notes. So it's possible to have eighth note, triplet 16th, eighth note within a beat. So yeah, there's a little bit about 12/8, but you'll see what I mean as I'm going through this. So how shall I talk about this? Let's edit this marker by 4 like this. Rhythmically for this, that's really nice. What am I doing? Where's that bottom note going? That makes sense, right? Sixths. Apparently I can't sing today. So 12/8 at a glance can look a lot more confusing, because when we look at this, this is 2 beats of music. If we were writing, fuck it, why not? If I was writing this in 4/4, I would have this. Oh, there we go. You'd have this. Now, of course, this is very common. You'd want a swing marking on it just so you could get that. This common. We see this all the time. This looks a little bit more confusing, mainly because we've got all of these grace notes in there, to be honest. If I do the same, that should keep me at bar 12, yep. If I get rid of those grace notes, there you go. I'll actually do the same over here just so you've got that comparison. Yeah, so this rhythm here, common, we see this type of thing all the time. Should really put a key signature in, shouldn't I? that would help us. What are we in, E flat? I put no thought into this before I did it. Let's just go E flat. Just because we're playing an E flat major chord at this point. More, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? More thought needs to go into this as I continue on. So yeah, rhythmically, we see this all the time, but 12/8 looks like this. A little bit more confusing. That's because each beat that I'm highlighting contains 3 eighth notes. But pulse-wise, I definitely think that's the best option. So. So we've got a what's this? E flat. Let's just double check he hits. He doesn't hit that. It's yeah. So he doesn't actually hit the, what is that, E flat in the middle? Yeah, he doesn't hit the E flat in the middle. I'm gonna put the rake on that because he is arpeggiating through it. Let me read these comments. Andrew T, wishing Happy New Year to Rick. You are on the wrong channel to wish Rick Happy New Year, but yeah, hopefully Rick does a stream that we can check out soon. Hello, Titus Guitar, how's it going? Luke, have you played any of the Ormsby GTXs? Which one's the GTX? I think I know which one that is. No, oh no, hang on. Yeah. I'm sure I know what one that is. Apparently I don't. I'm thinking of the TX. Just triple checking. Why when I type in Ormsby GTX does nothing come up? I'm going to have to go with no on that. Give me more terminology. What the hell is the GTX? What I can tell you is I have played the Hype because Mike has the Hype. I have played the Metal X because Mike has a Metal X. I have played a few Goliaths. Mike has a Goliath, and Kieran K-Mac has a Goliath as well. No, sorry, he doesn't. It was a Hype. He has a Hype. Yeah, so I played those, and of course I have my Goliath. I've played a few, odds and ends in Guitar. Yes. Thank you very much, Corden's World. What else have we got here? It'd be interesting to get the complete explanation of Conical. Conical is obviously something I make reference to when I'm talking, when I'm counting rhythms and things. The video that you want for that is the John McLaughlin and who the hell is the guy he does that with? Salvia Ganesh? Salva Ganesh? Vinyakrim? Salva Ganesh Vinyakrim. The video is called The Gateway to Rhythm. I'll post a link to that actually. So I posted a link to Salvia Ganesh and John McLaughlin video. That is fabulous if you're looking into conical. That was certainly where I learnt a lot of that stuff, most of that stuff. Ended up picking up a Halo because they had an insane deal. Good. Glad you got a new guitar. Glad you're happy. Love the guitar you received. Incredibly well appointed for the price. Big issue was the lead time. 15 business days. That's so fast. You can't complain about that. Rick's absolutely right. It's one of those things, like when you're doing something like this, writing it in 4 for 99% of the piece, it's going to look a little bit neater on the page. There's just a few spots where I say, because of the where he's definitely playing like 2s against 3s. He definitely sets up that feeling of 3 in what he's playing, and then he switches into 2s. And I think using the tuplet 2 is going to be great there. Okay, so the Hype headstock models. Mike and, as I say, Mike and Kieran both have the Hype machine. They're cool. They are really cool. In fact, when the podcast was sponsored by Ormsby, we were sorting out what guitars they were going to send us. I was going to have. I had initially ordered a Hype because I like that model. I really do like that model. And then I saw the Red Dead finishes for the upcoming run, and I said to Perry, "Oh man, you've done it. You've absolutely done it, right?" I'd already ordered a Hype at that point. And I said to him, "That's it, right? I'm going to order one of these damn things. As soon as you offer a Goliath in Red Dead, I'll order one of those." And he said, "I can make you a Goliath in Red Dead if you'd rather have that than the Hype." And I went, "Absolutely." So I am definitely a fan of the Hype. Luke, you bought a Metal X in green? Oh, I'm. See, when you say green, I was thinking of K-Mac's green one, but the Metal X in green is very good. Have I had any issues with GP7? Had to reinstall 6 because 7 kept making my computer crash. Interestingly, the complete opposite experience. 6 makes my computer crash. I cannot open anything in Guitar Pro 6. Cannot open anything in Guitar Pro 6. As soon as I open it, I've reinstalled the program. As soon as I open a file, the program immediately crashes. Such is life. Anyway, I'll keep going. That's nice voice leading, that. That just grabs you so well because you hear this what is this, an E flat major triad, ascending E flat major triad. Wonderful, right? And note wise, what have we got? We've got a G, B flat, and an E flat. So you have that triad, and then he goes to this G flat 7, and you have the G natural moves down to the G flat, but the E flat moves up to the F. Which is cool. I like that. That just, yeah. Wonderful example of voice leading right there. Fucking moo-tailed. How's it going, man? Now, here's an example of that too that I was talking about. Here I would be inclined to use a 2-tuplet. So it's 2 notes played in the space of 3. We've had this 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. Now, if I was doing this in 4/4, I would of course have these as triplets. These would all be triplets. You know what? Why not I just do it? I'll show you, because I want you guys to understand what I'm talking about. I want you to really understand why I have personally decided to do this in 12/8. Oh damn. So, let me think about this. One way would be that, but there's a caveat with that. And one way would be that. Right, I probably did those the wrong way around. If you were going to write this in 4/4, because he has there's so many triplets happening, you would be more inclined to have the rhythm with a swing marker on it, right? That makes sense. You'd have a swing marker on it. Da 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 da. But then that throws a spanner in the works when you get to this, because you will go to use 2/8 notes, but because there is a swing marking, you'd automatically play this with a swing feel. These aren't played with swing, these are played completely straight. That's a problem, right? So how do we get around that? Well, lots of things. You could do this. You could put like a no trip. Oh, okay, you can't even change mid-bar. That's a shame. You would either put a no swing marker on the bar, or you would put text in saying straight, and you'd maybe even try and spell it correctly. That would be one way of doing it. The other way of doing it, get rid of that bar now. The other way of doing it, don't want the swing marker. One last time. The other way of doing it would be to notate it in 4/4, but without a swing marker. That would mean every time that you do have swing 8th notes, da, 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 you would be forced to notate them with quarter note, 8th note triplets, which is what a swing marking does on the music. It stops you from having to do that for every single beat. This would play correctly, da 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 da. But if I do it in 12/8, I don't have that problem. And when I get to the next bar, really nice this. I perceive this as being grouping. Where is it? Grouping of 2, 2, swing, grouping of 2. Yeah. And this goes back not to what Rick was saying there, but illustrating like how none of this is perfect, because really when you're doing something like this, you want this to be used sparingly. You want it in a couple of places, whereas here we have a bar of it. We've got F minor 7. Yeah, let's put the 2s in now, just so I don't get really confused. I love that voicing. What would that be? There you go, yeah. Yeah. 2s on these. The top note drops down. Ba ba. That's 7th chord, right? So what? B flat 9. Oh. Do we have our first example of some audio trickery going on here? Is he just playing the triad there? Yeah, it is in there, but it's very quiet. So almost like he scuffs it. I love what you say there, Rick. Right, because you're right. That notating swing feel on ballads. People should transcribe things like Joe Pass solo pieces to get better at transcription. The problem with transcribing Joe Pass solo pieces, at least the way I work, because as you know, I work in Guitar Pro because I want maximum end user interactivity. Guitar Pro allows you to work within the parameters that Guitar Pro allows. Those Joe Pass things where he's extending bars willy-nilly is just nightmarish. I did a bunch of transcribing for the American Guitar Academy, I'm sure it was. Let me have a look. I want to make sure I get the right artists that I transcribe for those guys. And there was some stuff that was just yeah, it was Jack Wilkins. I had to do like a full Jack Wilkins thing for the American Guitar Academy, and it was great. It was a lot of fun, but none of it fit in the bar. Just like we had this struggle, like where we were looking at things and we're like, well, we want the you know, like the form of the piece. We want the chords to line up with where as an improviser, where you're imagining that form to be. But yeah, was just extending bars willy-nilly and just having fun with it. And it was, it reminded us, and I'm often telling my transcription students this, it was reminding us that music and transcription are two very different things. Music is played, transcription is something that happens afterwards, and we're just doing our best to try and capture the original musical idea. Addison Brown, would there be anything wrong with switching to 4/4 for 2 bars, or however many are straight, and then switching back to 12/8? Theoretically, there would be nothing wrong with doing that. And I guess this is where things all comes down to like stylistic and personal, I guess, like house style choices. Going back to what Rick was talking about, when you look at transcription books of Joe Pass's stuff, you see sometimes they transcribe in software that has a lot more flexibility, proper software, things like Sibelius, where they'll be in 4/4, and they'll keep things in 4/4, but sometimes a bar will just have 11/8 notes in it, right? And it was their stylistic choice to maintain the time signature of 4/4, but just put 11/8 notes in one of the bars, rather than having a bar of 4/4 followed by a bar of 11/8 followed by a bar of 6/4 followed by, you know what I mean? I think that it can look very, very confusing if you have too many time signature changes. It certainly makes a piece of music that in the performer's mind, when they were performing it, it certainly was nowhere near as complicated as that, right? That certainly wasn't the genesis of the idea, if you like. So I totally get on board when I see those Joe Pass transcriptions where they have too many notes in a bar. I look at that and I'm like, fair play. Like, you've done it that way, because although the kind of OCD music transcriber, music theory guy, the studied and schooled musician, although that guy, when he looks at this, he goes, whoa, what have you done? Well, that's not right. You can't do that. The musician in me, the player, the person that's played a bunch of Joe Pass's stuff, and he's my favourite jazz player, played a bunch of his stuff. I look at that from that perspective and I go, that's definitely a better way to do that. And there are definitely times when I'm working in Guitar Pro that I wish there was a setting where I could just click to stop forcing bars to be finished when they're finished, if that makes sense. If I need to add like just one extra eighth note to a bar of 4/4, making it a bar of 9/8. I mean, I probably would do that, to be fair, but yeah, man, my job is so annoyingly complicated sometimes. Getting caught up in the minutiae of this, all this silly stuff. Now, if Rick wasn't online watching this, like the master of ear training... Oh, and that reminds me, Rick, I'm thinking of doing doing your ear training course and, like regularly posting vlog updates on my experiences with it. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that, because... my ear needs to be better at this. My ear needs to be better. There's definitely moments in this where, well, what I'm going to talk about will totally make sense to you. And Dylan, Rick's son, would just nail this stuff. Like, he'd just be like this. This goes back to something that Dan Smith. I'm often talking about this lesson that Dan Smith passed on to me, which is when you listen to a chord like this, anticipate what this is. You know what I mean? Like, don't just. I can hear each of the individual notes. Yeah, I can, and I can write them out in Guitar Pro. Cool, but your ear never gets any better when you do that, right? So, what I really want to do is I want to listen to this chord, and I know. Diminished triad. Diminished triad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to really hear what it is. Yeah, so Rick says tonic diminished, and I'm sure you're right. Of course you are, right? You're Rick Beato. What I can hear when I hear that is I hear tension. And we need to be better than just going, I hear tension. End discussion. What I did was I went like this. I listened to it, and I could literally imagine the top two notes of the voicing moving up a semitone and that would give you that resolution. That's maybe not the best example, but earlier on when I heard this chord, I listened to it and I went, I know that chord. It's a dominant 9, root flat 7, 9 3. that to me is the thing that when you're working on something like this is the thing that you should be paying more attention to, not from a job perspective, because of course this is a job, but from a personal study perspective. Obviously I think most people that learn from my transcribing videos, you're probably not looking to learn to become professional transcribers. You're probably looking to develop the skills to be able to sit and transcribe yourself. So this is more from that perspective of you are a professional musician, or a serious musician, or serious hobbyist, or whatever it happens to be. You are wanting to transcribe because you are wanting to better yourself. Well, a huge part of that transcription is improving the ear. That's the goal. So trying to listen more, and don't just work it out, but take a second beforehand and try and really listen and guess what something is before you do it. Oh, he's not playing that, is he? Is he hitting that? He is hitting that D on top. See, that wasn't. Yeah, no, I was a little off on what I thought that was. Little off. What have we got? A D triad over an E flat bass note. D over E flat. Yeah. I thought it was just listening. I thought it was E flat diminished, an E flat diminished triad, and that is in there. But yeah, better description is absolutely D over E flat. Very nice. And now I want to be a picky and correct the accidental. Maybe here he plays the same triad on top of the D, but then open A string. And we've got much easier to hear this one because we've been exposed to the D triad over the E flat bass note a couple of times. So then when we hear that D again, but with a G in the bass. We've got an A in. Yeah, that's that. I remember Tom Quayle doing a lesson on that in the tonic diminished delayed resolution in Guitar Interactive magazine many years ago. And then for a good 3 months, every time I played a 2-5-1, I couldn't play D minor 7 G7 C major 7. It had to be D minor 7 G7 C diminished C major 7. And that's the point, right? I think that's how we learn this stuff. I have students that think they have terrible ears, and comparatively, they're right. They do have terrible ears, right? But they've played blues for 25 years, so they know what a 1 to a 4 sounds like. They hear it so often, they know that sound. They don't realise they know it, but when you point it out, they know it. Put them in a setting that they're unfamiliar with, like they're blues guys, but obviously I do a lot of country stuff, so I'm teaching them a Brad Paisley song, and there's an F chord and then there's a B flat chord, and they know they can find that first chord, and as soon as that B flat chord lands, they immediately know how to get to it, and it's that sense of like exposure to chord progressions, exposure to chord movements and all of that, right? The more time we expose ourselves to these things, you just start to hear these things, and yeah. I could hear diminished triad there, but not the richer voicing. So something to learn, something you get better at. So it's all about learning, right? What's this? I'm going to go... And I would put a let ring over that. I mean, everyone sat here watching me transcribe, but really the master of ear training and the master of having a better ear is in the it's in the chat. So head on over to Rick's site, head on over and pick yourself up a copy of his ear training course. Actually, before I carry on, I was having a joke. I was having a laugh with my friends and family over Christmas because they sort of know a little bit of what I do for a living. My in-laws and my sister-in-law, etc., sort of a little bit, but they don't fully understand what it is I do. They know that I write music down, right? But one of them yesterday actually said to me, we were talking about YouTube, and she said, you know, she's talking about how people make money on YouTube, etc. And we were looking at some like K-Mac videos, and then we were looking at some Adam Neely videos and some Rick Beato videos, and giving people an idea of giving her an idea of, you know, levels of subscribers, what the difference in subscriber levels can be on things like this. Because when she said, "How many subscribers do you have?" and I said 26,000, she was like, "Is that a lot?" And I was like, well, yeah, that's a massive amount, but also at the same time, no, it's not a massive amount. So then we're looking at these other people, and she's understanding. I'm showing her philosophy videos and all of this, and she's like, okay, so I get an understanding of like there's some people try to do some really interesting educational content on YouTube, and then she said, "Don't you just rant and shout at people on YouTube though?" And I'm like, damn it. Kind of. Sometimes. It's not all I do. And then I thought about what these transcription videos that I do really are. I told her that I do this on YouTube as well, and she said, okay, that's really interesting. I love these live transcription videos for two reasons. One, if it inspires someone to go and do a transcription today, then it was totally worth it, and I'm super happy that I've done it, right? Super happy that I've done it. And if it helps you to understand how to do it, of course that's the main goal, right? But that exercise I was talking about there, where you listen to something and you try and anticipate what it is before you write it down, that's a great exercise. That's like running with weights on, right? It's trying to make your world a little bit more difficult for yourself, right? That's exactly what these live transcriptions are for me. It's added pressure. It's easy for me to sit and transcribe music on my own, like as a job, with no one watching. But when you have that added pressure of people watching, when the people watching include Robert Baker and Rick Beato, like it's pressure, and it's kind of like you can practice in a room, improvising over chord changes. And that's one thing. But then when you have to go out on stage and you have to perform in front of actual people, that's a different world, right? It's a different level of pressure. You don't just get to rewind time like you do in a practice room. Oh, I didn't like that. Cool, I'll stop and start again. In the real world, that's not a thing. So this, to me, is like a gig. This is a transcribing gig. This is a performance. And I love that pressure. It should make my ear better. Don't like the accidentals, but I'll come back to it. See that there, Rick Beato, your live streams are my favourite. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to print screen that and get that tattooed on my chest. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. In fact, I should... That'll be gone forever otherwise. Nick Harrison is another great player. I love that. I love that. Boo, 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 boo. I can't sing today. I don't know what what's happening to me. I know what he's playing though, right? It's oh, why? Why? I hate the key signature. This is why I never put a key signature on a piece until right at the end. Oh, rhythms, Matt. You're so damn good. You're so good. But your stuff sucks to write down. You know what I'm going to do here? Back to my tuplets. Put a let ring on that. This that particular movement there makes me relatively confident that he's either overdubbed or mimed this, because you can hear that like that slide up and slide down, but he isn't sliding up and sliding down, he's just sliding down there. So let's put in what he plays. Lots of comments, missed lots of comments. Happy New Year, Connor. How's it going, man? Hope you're well. Come home. I say that every time you're online. Come home. Skill average in this chat, yeah. Julian, 2135, right? I love what you've said there about Eric Johnson being really easy to transcribe, because his notes are fat and you can hear everything that's being played. The easiest person in the world to transcribe, is Andy James. Andy James is the easiest person in the world to transcribe. I've done virtually all of Andy's transcriptions for him for the last 10 years, and his stuff is so easy because he's so accurate, he's so in time, and his stuff is so prominent in the mix. P, sorry to interrupt, but do you have a video or advice on syncing video with sound in Transcribe? I started doing it and having good luck except for syncing issues. I'm not sure, P. Are you able to get the video open in Transcribe like this? You need to have GStreamer installed in Transcribe. You get that from Transcribe's website. When you are in Transcribe, if the video and audio is a little bit out of sync, you can use this down here, and this will offset the video by however many frames you need to. I've had enough, Chuck. I'm glad you watched my channel. There we go. I'm glad you watched my channel. You can't stay away, can you, Chuck? I think you'll find actually all the living legends of modern guitar are actually in the chat right now. Yeah, sorry, I was saying, P. You can offset the video by however many frames you need. So if I was watching this, I know what you mean. I think it's a video formatting thing. There are certain file formats that you'll open in Transcribe, video files, and they will be a little bit out of sync. MP4s I tend to have the best luck with, but if I have to open an AVI, I often have to offset the sync. So when I look at this, so this looks okay to me, but I might look at that and say the video is a hair too early, just a little bit too early, so I could offset it by like 2 frames. Maybe 5 frames. Now it's definitely too late. Oh. That looks okay to me. That looks quite good to me. But I'm fine with it on 0 because I don't need it to be perfect. And if there's one thing that people can say from watching my YouTube videos, my audio sync is usually a little bit out. I just briefly want to explain why that is. I live screen capture all of my these videos like this, and when I record regular videos I use my webcam and I capture it in OBS, but OBS captures my webcam. It captures the video file and it captures the audio file, but unlike with a video camera where those two things are locked in place, OBS captures them as two separate things and then records them together as one. And those originally are not lined up. They're originally not in sync with each other. So then when I sync my audio that I record with my microphone to that, it's always a little bit out. But I am working on trying to work out how to fix that in OBS. Glad that helped, P. Glad that helped. Have I used Riff Station at all? Dude, you can do all of that in Transcribe. Here. We've got a mono karaoke section, so I could make like an out of phase version of this, which is essentially those track isolations. That's all they're really doing. I've got a full EQ here that I can use if I need it. I've got my tuning thing if I need to offset anything. If I did it with the Frank Gambale transcription I was doing the other day, that was a little bit out of tune, and I had to detune the recording by about 25 cents, if I remember rightly. You can set up transposing stuff, you can adjust speed obviously, and then there's all of these complicated miscellaneous things that you can do. So people often ask me if I used other software to transcribe, and the answer is always no, because Transcribe's been around the longest. I've been using Transcribe for the longest, and then all these other pieces of software have come along, Amazing Slowdown or Riff Station, etc. And people have said, why don't you check them out? And the answer is always the same, because I've never, been using Transcribe and said to myself, oh, I wish it had this functionality. It's just everything that I could want is there. It just works. It does what I want, and it does it really well. So I don't need to go looking for other pieces of software. So, yes. Let's keep going. Hey, Levi, nice to see you live after Shitstorm Pro. Yes, Jeff said. Honestly, I'm unaware of the shitstorm because unlike Kalen Hughes, who has had to remove himself from YouTube because of all the threats he's receiving, I'm 31 years old and I've been an asshole on the internet for a very long time. So I'm pretty good now. I'm getting much better, should I say, at walking into a room full of people, throwing a grenade into the middle of it, and then leaving the room and just shutting the door and not worrying about it. You can't get to me anymore. Lovely chord there. What's that? E minor 9? Yeah, E minor 9. It'll be look at this fucking key signature. I've got to get rid of the key signature. It's doing my head in. I can't do it. I can't. Control K. We'll worry about key signature afterwards. So he doesn't play the D on there. I'm sure he was playing the D, but that was me using my eyes. Right, I could see he was using eyes. Oh, the Toronto transcription was great fun. Can I recommend a resource for learning fingerstyle on electric, like how Matt is playing here? Thanks. Yeah. Matt's transcriptions. Matt also has some Jam Track Central stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, he was getting hundreds of people contacting his schools. Hundreds of people were contacting his employer. People were trying to find out where he lived. They located down his town to where he was located, and they were trying to find out exactly where he lived. So he just, for his own safety, just went, you know what, guys, I'm out. And actually, you know what, you've proved my point. You've absolutely proved my point. I have an audience. Like, I've got 26,000 subscribers, which is nowhere near as big as some YouTubers, of course. But let me be super clear about this, right? I'll bring myself up on screen because I'm going to do what Rob should have done. I'll bring myself up on screen. Under no circumstances, when I'm taking issue and trying to tell someone I think they've done something shitty, right? Under no circumstances should you ever go and harass that person. Under no circumstances should you seek them out on YouTube and leave comments on their videos, for two reasons. One, that's not how that works. Like, that, you'll just become part of a mob where you start bullying them, right? I don't want my audience to do that, and I certainly don't want you to be doing that thinking that you're doing it to help me out. It doesn't help me out. It's not helping anyone out. If anything, you just make me look bad, right? Fortunately, my audience is a little bit more mature, and they would never do something like that. But also, more importantly, if my point is genuinely that person doesn't deserve traffic, then also don't go and give them traffic, you know? Like, as content creators, I do believe that we've got this degree of responsibility to try and encourage our audience to not be shitheads. Now, on the other hand, I don't think that I'm personally responsible for the actions that you take, and that's where you can operate in a bit of a grey area, where you don't say anything, and then isn't that a shame that my audience are all sending abuse to this person? I just don't want to be that person. So again, under no circumstances should you go and harass anybody that has issue with me. Let them get on with their thing. And I wish Rob had done that, because now Kaylin wouldn't be off YouTube. But as I keep saying, I think now we know exactly what Rob meant when he said, I have a lot of power online. And we know exactly what Rob meant when he threatened to name and shame people in those posts. You don't name and shame people for any reason other than, I know what will happen if I name and shame you. You don't trust me. You do not want me to name you. Oh, no, it's not a dominant chord. It's a first inversion chord. He loves that move. He does that all the time. Everything will stay where it... that stays where it is. This all comes down. Nice chord movement. So, what, a 9? Yeah. Oh. make sure we get the right notes in here. Notes F sharp minor 7. I'm just going to rake the whole thing. What we've got here. Anecdotal doesn't necessarily mean untrue, does it? Refute what's been said by all means. Yep, that's the problem with my video. It's incredibly easy to look at what I did and look at my video and say, well, this is really petty. You could have just left this. And guess what? I said that in the video myself. But you also can't refute what I've actually said, because all I've done is demonstrate truths. Do I sometimes transcribe instruments other than guitar? Yes, absolutely, Martin. Absolutely. I've got some harpsichord work that I have to do at the moment, actually, which is fun. Have I ever tried to sync guitar profiles to your video and see how close you get? Yeah, I do that on live streams all the time. I can't do it with this particular video because obviously the time is the time is fluctuating, but I do that on live streams all the time. Is he playing the A? No, it's the E. Get the rhythm right. I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Ah, no. Martin, it would depend on what the client wants. So the harpsichord transcriptions that I'm having to do at the moment, they're not for a harpsichord player, they are for a guitar player. So I will be tabbing them for him. I'll literally tab them for him. But if I do things like, what have I done recently? I had to do some choral vocal arrangements for things because someone needed arrangements. So obviously tab isn't needed for that. So yeah, don't bother using Guitar Pro for something like that. What's he playing there? Go with that. This is just something that's an absolute nightmare to have to notate. Levi, have I ever tried to transcribe Josh S. Stefan stuff? I'm sure it would be a great challenge. Let's have a look, shall we? Levi Clay and Josh O. Stefan. There you go. There's a 4-hour live stream of me transcribing Josh O. Stefan. Big fan of his playing. Big fan of his playing. This is just not meant to be notated. Let's go with that. Hate it. Absolutely hate what I've had to do there. It works. Shouldn't have the lettering on the last note. That's a Guitar Pro idiosyncrasy. Yeah, shouldn't. Don't like it. No need to be sorry. No need to be sorry. Actually, that reminds me though. That kind of goes in with the whole point of what was asked previously. If I go Levi Clay, Joshua Stefan. Apparently, I can't spell his name. Yeah. So here's a video that I took from that where I synced the Guitar Pro file to the video, and then I ended up just exporting the images, and then the thing I like to do when I do this, I call it my silly solos series. I put a silly sound on the MIDI, so I've made him sound like he's playing bagpipes here. I was going to say, well, I mean, I've talked about this, many times in many streams. I absolutely love gypsy jazz, and I was going to say gypsy jazz is my favourite style of music, but then I also love slide guitar, and I love bluegrass, and I love country fingerstyle, like the Chet Atkins, Jerry Reed type stuff. And honestly, I've said this on recent streams, I could just go away and live in a log cabin in the woods and never be seen again, and just take a guitar and just pick one of those styles and spend the rest of my time doing my stuff. Matt Sickles is online. Yes, finally, he deserves it. He deserves it. He's the man. I'm gonna stress this point again. Let me do it. Please, go and subscribe to Matt Sickles on YouTube. He's got sick in his name. He's sick by nature. Trippy, are you people not fucking listening to what I'm saying? The videos were taken down because he was getting hundreds of actual people threatening his life, contacting his schools, contacting his employers, and trying to find out his address. They had found out the town that he lived in, and they were looking for his address. Now, regardless of whether or not they were going to do anything, of course they weren't going to do anything. They're internet hard men. The only reason they were doing that was for intimidation, and they got exactly what they fucking wanted, didn't they? They got him to take down the critical content. They fucking bullied him. They bullied him because their overlord didn't say, do not ever go and harass somebody that I have personal problems with. Sorry, it makes me really angry. I fucking hate online bullies. And that's exactly what that is. Made it very fucking clear. I've got a lot of online power. Anyone that is critical of me, I will name and shame. Because I know what happens when I name and shame people. Fucking bully. Let's just go with the worst thing with KDH thing is his followers will absolutely take that as an admission of guilt, and that, see, we were right. See, he took him down because he knew that he was lying. Fucking disgusting. If I ever saw any of my fans or followers doing something like that, I can't stop you from watching my videos. It's impossible for me to stop you watching my videos, but I would fucking make sure that you are banned from my channel and you can't comment on any of them, because you're no fucking fan of mine if you're part of that culture. Harmonics. mean, lots of people have asked this. I've said it several times over the course of this stream. I'm sure I was saying it as a direct response to when you said about anecdotes. I literally then went on to repeat this. Watch the stream back, people. I have explained what's happened to Kaylin multiple times. Again, sorry Matt, I don't see you actually playing that slap there, so either audio editing or this is a mime. Georgie Cuerdas. I tried my best. Sorry. Glad you enjoyed it, man. That's actually the other thing that's really bugged me over the last few days. Let's do a rant, right? The amount of people that have reached out to me or left comments on things and said, Levi, I used to love your content, but all you focus on now is negativity. All you focus on now is negativity. What I say to someone like that is, what are you basing that on? Are you basing that on one 15-minute video? One 15-minute video. How about you go back and look at actually what I've uploaded in the last 3 weeks, right? There's one 15-minute video of me trying to stop happening what has happened to a tiny little YouTuber. One 15-minute video. There is 10 hours of unique instructional content that has been uploaded in the last 3 weeks. 10 hours of content versus 15 minutes, right? If you're watching my videos and all you see is negative content, then you need to seriously reevaluate the content that YouTube recommends to you. YouTube only recommends content to you that it thinks that you're going to click on. And you know what? Evidently they're right, because you click on it and then fucking moan about it. Stop watching negative content if you don't like it. Go out there and find great educational content. Again, 10 hours of it in the last 3 weeks. In fact, after this, it will be well over 11, getting on for 12, right? Go and watch good content. Don't get sucked down into the negativity. And if I want to make a 15-minute video ranting about something, I will make a 15-minute video ranting about something. But then guess what? I'm going to go back to doing hours and hours of unique educational content that no one else does. I mean, people do educational content, but they don't do what I'm doing here. Lovely chord. Does he hit the E in that? B minor 7. 2's here. I'll keep that as a swing. I'm going to finish this bar and then leave it, because then I will have done 12 bars. Yeah, Trippy. I honestly, I don't want you to personally think that I'm having a go at you when I'm doing that. Like, people have to remember that a huge part of, like, when I do the Rage Time videos, I'm not a massively angry person, but I have spent a good 15, 20 years of my life watching wrestling, professional wrestling, right? And maybe it's a fantasy of mine to go into that world and just get to do that cutting promos thing. I have fun with it. I love getting animated. I love waving my arms around and like, when I get you in that hell in a cell, I'm gonna beat your ass harder than you've ever had your ass beat before. I'll get threats of legal action for that, right? The idea of that is entertaining to me, so I love doing that. Yeah. What have you got? Oh shit! Definitely audio edited after a performance because the thing with your stuff, Matt, is to you everything seems easy. But actually playing this stuff is fucking hard, and it's even harder to write this stuff down. But I love it. And again, people go and subscribe to Matt. Is there a way to let Ormsby know you sent me when buying a guitar and reverb? I'm going to pick one up if there isn't one in the new Ibanez. If there isn't one in the new Ibanez catalog that does what I need, just let them know on Instagram or just post on their. Yeah, actually, you know what? Yes, the best way to do that is to send us, the Guitar Souls, a picture of your guitar, saying, you know, I bought this because. To support the show, and then when we post that up on our Facebook page, we know Perry sees that stuff because we're always talking with Perry. Having said that, if you're interested in the new Ibanez stuff, I would recommend checking my channel out at midnight tonight when I will be uploading a pre-recorded full catalogue rundown of the new Ibanez 2019 catalogue, which Ibanez kindly sent me, and I've also done a separate video which is my top 5 favourite new guitars in the Ibanez catalogue. So yeah. Goodbye, Robert. You'll find a lot of them, mate. Spoilers, there are some really cool Ibanez guitars coming out this year, and I will probably be picking up one of them. Maybe there's one that I really like. May do it, may not. We'll see. Just because I'd like a guitar with a tremolo. But yeah, that video will be going live at midnight tonight. I'm not suggesting everybody watch it at midnight. You're probably going to be celebrating. But yeah, it should be one of... You'd hope... I've hit the embargo perfectly, so you would hope it'll be the first one of its kind online. It should be a bit of an exclusive. So hopefully you will go and watch that and enjoy that. I cannot comment about what is in the catalogue until you see it, other than saying there's some stuff in there that I do like. What's he playing there? Jesus. Being E, yeah? Is he actually playing the E there, Matt? Yeah, you do. Up to the first inversion, that makes sense. No, one of these damn rakes that you do slightly before the beats. Bouncing around, bouncing them titties. Love that. Love the voice in those. What, G9 over A? Are you playing the A? You are. So, so it's not a G9. That would be... Oh, no. It's an A9. It's just a straight A9. So I've decided that I'm doing those like this. I don't like... There's no way I can do this that I like. Let's do that. Why not? No, it's beautiful, Matt. I mean, I say it's beautiful, Matt. It is beautiful. Of course it's beautiful. But in future, if when you're playing things, you could be more considerate of how it's going to look when it's on a page. I do appreciate that it would probably make your music a lot more sterile, but it would make my life a lot easier. So we seem very in D now. It was very in E flat earlier on, but yeah, we're very in D now. And we're getting into the nasty world of, do you put multiple key signatures in a piece? Oh, what a beautiful modulation. And it's not just, so it's not just the modulation. You go between the what have you got? Is it D and then a B? B with a D sharp in the bass. Doesn't just hit that though. There's a note out in the middle. We'll keep it in there. Doesn't just have that modulation, which is a really nice touch, but to really hammer it home, gives you that idea of 2 against 3. It's so it's not 2, but it's not swing. It's somewhere between the two. It's beautiful, beautiful, Matt. Beautiful, lovely feel. So let's do that. Let's keep it in swing. Ba, ba. E minor 7. Nice. Beautiful. No, not. What would it be? Is that? Breaks in these? Now this is what transcribing is all about. Hear this? We copy paste that. We fix the end of it. There you go. That's how you save time. Right. So I'm going to stop there because I've been transcribing for like over an hour. Thoroughly enjoyed myself though, right? What are you guys all doing watching this? It's New Year's Eve. You should be going and doing something fun. I'm having fun, but you probably aren't having as much fun as me. I'm going to hit play on Matt now, just so you can hear a little bit more of Matt. As a reminder, please do go and subscribe to Matt Sickles. This probably won't work now. Oh, it does work. Very nice. There's a link to Matt Sickles one more time. Let's listen to his beautiful playing on Surfer Girl. There's a Beach Boys cover. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. Matt Sickles. Please do go and subscribe. He is wonderful. What have we got here? Yep. Much love to Matt. Much love to everybody. Go and do something positive in 2020. Go out there. Help people. Make the world a better place. Learn something. Make yourself better. Why am I doing all of this inspirational stuff without my face on screen? Go out there. Do something amazing in 2020. Go out there. Help people. Encourage people. Learn something. Better yourself. Better the people around you. Better your family. Make the world a better place. You know it's worth it. Right, finally. Make my life better by checking me out on Patreon. Link in the description. Thank you to all of my supporters over on Patreon. 2019 has been amazing. Looking forward to a wonderful 2020. Lots of changes coming. So, yeah, link in the description. Support me for as little as $1. You can also check out one of my books on Amazon. Yeah, you know, just go on Amazon and look for Levi Clay. You will find all of my books there. And, yeah, I appreciate all of your love and support. And thank you very much for tuning in. I will catch you next decade. Yeah, for some more fun, learning, entertainment, and probably some WWE shit. Later.